I'm Rashmi, and I'm a lecturer at the University of Pretoria and very passionate about the Values in Healthcare program. So sorry about my video. There is a bit of lag on it now, and apologies for that. But yes, welcome. And as I said, I look forward to engaging on the platform with you.
So wonderful. Thanks, Rashmi. And so just to share a little bit about the background of this program so that we know where it's coming from. So this is a beautiful program that was created originally to support healthcare workers. So that is why it's called Values in Healthcare, but it has extended now to support various professions who work with others to uplift and support our communities. And so it is a personal and team development program. And this is the individuals that created the program, a whole host of individuals, Sarah and Kala, Anne Redford, Joy Rendell, Craig Brown, and these amazing individuals created this program to support those of us that are taking care of others. They were working to promote holistic approach to patients, and the president of this foundation, the Janki Foundation, then looked at them and said, very well, you're doing wonderful work, but look at yourselves, you look a bit worn out, and what are you doing for yourself? So the principle of this program is physician, heal thyself. So we often want to give, but you cannot give from an empty cup. So the emphasis on self-care and personal development, learning through experience. And so the program is facilitated, experiential, not didactic, but we learn from each other and very much relevant to our personal and professional lives with reflection, action planning, and evaluation. And there's 8 modules, and we are looking at being positive today, but there's one on gaining strength through understanding my personal value statement and benefiting from being calm and peaceful in all the chaos. There's another on compassion, self-compassion, and compassion for others, cooperation to appreciate the wisdom of teams, valuing yourself. And so looking at how I sustain myself, spirituality in healthcare, and building resilience, exploring ways to draw on our inner strength. And we use a various number of tools, which we will use today. And these tools are meditation, visualization, reflection, creativity, appreciation, listening, and playfulness. And so using these tools, we guide a journey to an inner experience to really rediscover what does it mean, with regard to being positive today. And so the importance that there's silent self-reflection and sharing, and the facilitation is to make the journey easy. So it's not that we will be lecturing to you, but it will be a learning community. Ideally, this program is done in the various cities and countries around the world. In a space where we can learn in circles, in groups, learning circles, and there's introduction, play, sharing, reflection, feedback, silence, movement, action planning, evaluation, and it's done with teams or diverse individuals. But the beauty of being in the space and taking maximum benefit, and because we want to reach more people and share this, we've also moved to an online platform. So I know currently as well, many of you are from other countries. So that's wonderful. So we can share, this program online as well. And so today, as I mentioned, we will be looking at this topic of being positive. And it's such a vital topic because, in the world, as professionals, we've been trained to be highly self-critical. And consequently, we realize that we focus on more what we have not done well rather than what we are proficient at. And so this critical thinking can help maintain standards, but to really appreciate that it may not serve us when we are dealing with others and in interpersonal relationships, and how thinking positively can improve my attitude and have greater impact on my energy levels, my satisfaction, so that there's enhanced clarity in my decision making and an increased sense of well-being. And so, the saying is a glass that is half filled with water. A pessimist would consider it to be half empty, whilst an optimist would consider it to be half full. And the aim today is in this 2 hours to just take it out for yourself, to journey with these tools, be fully present so that you can take maximally to look at the self and what are my attitudes toward myself. How can I reflect on when I've been positive and how can I be more positive, so that I can take the best of who I am to what I have to do, rather than always chiding and putting the self down. How can I grow my self-worth, my self-esteem, such that there's maximal productivity as well? And so definitely being positive maximizes my productivity. And so we will look at this gently and powerfully with you as we guide you through the session today. And so I would like to now invite Rashmi.
Thank you, Rak.
Yes, great.
Wonderful. I want to take this opportunity to help you become present. So let's begin by taking a moment to arrive. Wherever you are, allow your body to settle. Feel your feet on the floor, your hands resting gently on your lap, your breath moving in and out. Take a slow, deep breath in and a long, steady breath out. As you exhale, gently invite a sense of calm into your body. Let your shoulders drop, your jaw soften, and your thoughts now begin to slow. Gently feel a sense of calm from the top of your head to the tips of your toes. There is nothing you need to do right now except to be here. Let go of whatever came before this moment. Release what's ahead. You are here now, present, calm, and ready to begin. Thank you, Raksha. Next slide. So I would just like to find out where we are at and how we are feeling this afternoon. And can I invite you to just share, perhaps via an emoji or a word, to please share how you are feeling at this very moment. All right. And I would like you to share that on the chat. And if you're typing it in, I will tell you, I'll give you a moment to please type it in. And then I would like to do a chatterfall in this and see what are the various emotions we have today. How are we feeling at this very moment? I think having that awareness of where we are at helps us. That's the start of becoming more positive. So can everyone just quickly pop into the chat where they are at and how they're feeling?
Don't press enter yet. So when she
As
says,
of yet, we wanted a chatterfall, but I think that's okay too, dear Raksha,
Yeah. So Chatterfall means
means,
when she says enter, then you press enter.
but I trust that we're already getting some different feelings coming through here. So for the rest of you, if you have taken note of the Chatterfall instruction, and we will then quickly see what we have. So can I trust that everyone is already being able to type that. So can we just say 1, 2, 3, and let's see what we get now, those that haven't entered?
Yes, you can do that now.
Yes.
1,
2, and 3. Good. Lovely. So we have anxious, free, good, neutral, I think Joshua is sharing. And then we have calm, happy, again, neutral being highlighted, or a sense of not sure. And then we have tired but excited. And then I trust, Catherine, you're looking for more of a rest or tired again. I'm feeling love and growth. Pepe is sharing. Then grateful to be here. Wonderful. Content. Eva is sharing. Katlwano is mutual. Then we have Dirhan sharing relaxed. Margaret happy. Um, Marcel sharing anxious but good. And then we have George happy, I trust. And then we have Sissoko sharing stress, Michelle then sharing contentment, I trust. Then Kailini expecting, I'm sure, only goodness with the emoji there. And then we have Archibald sharing that they are, or he is also feeling good. And then we have Charlene sharing grateful, and Margaret calm. I think we have a myriad of different emotions being expressed today, Raksha, and I trust that we can take those. Oh, and then we have Tinashi sharing exhausted, but I trust we can take them to a space where they feel a little bit more positive. Raksha? Yes, thank you guys for sharing your feelings. Oh, and then I just want to just quickly cover Salvam sharing excited to receive this positivity session, calming to feeling silent to consume this program. And then we have Melody sharing she's feeling great again. All right, before and like every session that we do, and then Alida sharing grateful. Thank you, Alida. And before every session begins, I think it's vitally important that we just share some guide for respect in the session. So these were some that Raksha and myself thought of, but please feel free to add while I share the ones that we thought of. So listen sincerely from the heart to appreciate others sharing. Share openly to learn. Confidentiality will be respected. So this one is a vitally important one. So please share openly, as we will respect confidentiality. If possible, put your cell phone on silent during the session. Remember to mute yourself when you're not sharing. Anything else that you'd like to add? Anything you may unmute and share? I trust you all know how to unmute, or you could share on the chat. Anything else that you think is vitally important to guide our session today before we delve deeper into the domain of positivity? Anyone? I think from my side, I just want to mention the last one, to keep a notebook and pen available for the session, or perhaps if you'd like to just, Saraswati is sharing positive. I'm sure that is how she's feeling at this moment. So we're still getting some feelings on that. But any other rules of respect in the session? Nothing else. I think then we can go on to the next slide then. Okay, Raksha.
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, I think before we get deeper into positivity, I think we need to look at being positive and what benefits it brings to one. So let's begin by this reflective exercise. And this is where your pen and paper is needed, or perhaps you want to type into your phone on your notes. So on your own, I want you to consider what the gains or benefits of being positive are on the following areas: your body or physical health, um, your mind or mental health, your relationships or social health, and your spirit, faith, or belief system. So just take a moment to consider what being positive has on these areas of your life. Okay, so you may take about, if you don't mind, maybe a minute or two to just do that very quickly so we can have a look at why is it important to be positive. So what is the benefit of being positive? Perhaps if you're finding it difficult to think about this, perhaps think about a time when you were positive in your life and what impact it had. Okay. I trust you had an opportunity to reflect. A thumbs up if you fine and we can go ahead. Everyone's okay to go ahead. I would like you to kindly share. Okay, Marcel, thank you for that. I would like you to kindly share then. Either you can unmute, and I trust you all know the icons using Zoom. So at the bottom, you would see that you can unmute there. Thank you, Michelle. Or you could share on the chat. So what is the impact on one's physical health if one is positive? So, what comes to mind for me is perhaps when I'm positive, I feel like I have more energy, so I'm more energetic. So, quickly, all right, so Clay, I think, agrees with me. Physical health, she feels more positive. Can anybody else like to share on the platform? What does it do for your mental health, your social health, and your spiritual health? So Deborah sharing, she is happier and calmer, and that is basically, it helps with regards to her mental health. So she becomes, the benefits of it is that she's happier and calmer. Anybody else? Thank you, Deborah. Joshua sharing, the body is a reflection of consciousness. When we are negative, our bodies are negatively affected. So I think bringing in all the different areas here, Joshua is sharing that one is then negatively affected in all these areas. Then Saraswati is sharing, physically she's able to sleep better when she is positive. Sissoko sharing calm, peaceful, and then socially, she's able to have a good relationship with someone. Charlene is sharing then the body, there's a great impact in terms of our fitness, mind, conscious thinking, overall experience, perfect outcomes. With regards to the health, it reduces stress. With relationships, they're happy and meaningful. Everything is, everything is, sorry, it just moved on my screen here. Everything is energy, and energy is everything. Beautifully said, Charlene. Therefore, being positive, we see life in a different perspective. Lovely, Charlene. And then Claire sharing, when I focus on gratitude, it brings joy, and hence my overall well-being improves. So a practice of being positive is that of gratitude. And yet Claire is sharing a technique that she perhaps embodies. And then we have peer sharing, that the body is relaxed and less susceptible to disease. Yes, there's been a lot of research there's a lot of evidence out there that if one is more positive, one is less susceptible to dis-ease. And from the word itself, disease is dis-ease. Kylene sharing there that you then will have a healthy body. With regards to the mind, then it's the lightness of the mind. In relationships, you are able to be lovable. You are more in your belief systems, you're more virtue-based. Wonderful. And then we have Salvam sharing, on awakening, my first reaction for the morning, I declare I am the architect of my inner self to set myself for a good day ahead. Once more, Salvam sharing beautifully there how one can be more positive. Eva sharing, she's more creative and willingly able to share time with family and friends. Yes, sometimes when we are not positive, we tend to then not want to be with others. And when one is positive, one is able to do this freely. Michelle sharing contentment and health is good. Then Sandra sharing physically a sense of well-being. She's energized. The mind is calm, peaceful, and organized. Relationships are engaged. I think a very powerful word there. When we are not positive, we tend to be dwelling in our own thoughts, in our negative thoughts, and we are not really present and engaged in relationships. So Sandra, yes, beautifully shared there. And when it comes to religion, she's definitely then connected. Melody sharing, physical pain is subdued with positivity. With mental positivity, you will see things in a very possible way. Social healthy bring up the you bring up the outgoing in the social sphere. So she's more outgoing. The spirit's making one more accessible to social grouping without feeling vulnerable. So if you're positive, you're not feeling vulnerable within the social sphere. The spiritual aspect in the area, positive makes all things possible. So within the spirit, there's a sense of hope. I think that Melody is embodying that anything and everything is possible. Marcel sharing, she's more motivated, more energetic, and creates health, and she's able to create healthy relationships. And Katwano says, I'm glowing when I feel positive. So beautifully said. I'm glowing when I feel positive. Karnita sharing, when you are positive, it raises your vibrations, and then others also benefit from your positive vibration. So this interconnectedness of, once more, that social sphere, when one is positive, what it is doing to the environment, it is also then bringing that vibration through. Melody sharing, I will be more convicted in every adventure. And then we got Naja sharing the body. With regards to the body, you can do what you need to do and live a fulfilling life. with regards to the mental area. You see opportunities instead of obstacles, and Nadia sharing joyful, uplifting in relationships as well. She's sharing now further on her relationships. She's joyful and she's uplifting. And when it comes to the spirit or the faith, there's more trust when one is positive in the higher power, and one is then able to surrender. And I think well, not just in a nutshell, and thank you for being so expressive in the benefits of being positive, because I think if one is able to identify this, then one is then able to be able to be more positive in all that he or she is doing. So thank you for that, and thank you for the sharing. Raksha, next slide, please. And we'll move on to the next exercise.
Wonderful. So it's quite amazing, hey, all that came up when one is positive, and so it encourages us to maintain that feeling constantly as often as we can.
Yes, Raksha. But beautiful sharings. Right. So the next exercise we're going to be looking at is, as Raksha said, the whole values in healthcare is an inside-out approach where one is looking at the self. And so we're going to delve in a little bit deeper into the self. And we're going to be looking into that of valuing the self. So it's about thinking about ourselves in a positive way. And thinking about ourselves in a positive way is not showing arrogance or perhaps being embarrassed. Many times when we receive a positive comment, we tend to shy away from the positive comment. We tend to think that or we feel embarrassed. But sometimes it's important to actually acknowledge that which is positive within us to be able to really value the self. And this exercise is going to just take us a little bit through that. As mentioned, thinking about ourselves is not always easy. Most of the times our thoughts are on the negative end of the spectrum. So our thoughts are on a spectrum, and many a times one tends to feel I'm not good enough. Oh, I should have never said that. Oh my soul, I feel embarrassed now. I always get that wrong. But we do have control over our thoughts. So we need to change the way we think. And with practice, with practice and determination, our thinking can become more positive. I think over time, our thoughts have been fed to us rather than created from the inside out approach. So it's come from the outside to us, because as Raksha said, we've been groomed to be quite self-critical, and when we're quite self-critical, we are never. I'm looking for a good word for this. We are never kind to the self. So negative thinking has become a matter of a habit, but it can be changed to thinking positively. So thinking about our own attributes in a positive way gets us in touch with who we are and who we truly are. And it's essential in building self-esteem. It is important to acknowledge our best attributes. Like I said, many a times when one says or one is told, well done, or thank you for this, so one seems to feel embarrassed, or there is also that sense of thinking positive, then you might think it's a sense of having arrogance, but not really. There are times when we are, but I do feel in order to value the self and value the self authentically, we also need to be able to take these positive comments. So the next exercise, I now invite you to identify your positive qualities and thoughts by answering the following questions. I would like you to be spontaneous and jot down any thoughts which arise rather than spending too long considering the response. Right. So, what qualities have I shown today while talking with others? So, what qualities have I shown today while talking with others? What qualities have I shown today while talking with others? What qualities have I shown today while talking with others? What qualities have I shown today while talking with others? What qualities have I shown today while talking with others? What qualities have I shown today while talking with others? What qualities have I shown today while talking with others? What qualities have I shown today while talking with others? What qualities have I shown today while talking with others? What qualities have I shown today while talking with others? What qualities have I shown today while talking with others? What qualities have I shown today while talking with others? What qualities have I shown today while talking with others? What qualities have I shown today while talking with others? What qualities have I shown today while talking with others? What qualities have I shown today while talking with others? What qualities have I shown today while talking with others? What qualities have I shown today while talking with others? What qualities have I shown today while talking with others? What qualities have I shown What positive thoughts have I had about others? What positive thoughts have I had about myself? And what have I done well today? So let's reflect on the day again and let's have a look again. What qualities have I shown today while talking to others? What positive thoughts have I had about others? I think having positive thoughts about others is also then being able to embody positivity on a different level. What positive thoughts have I had about myself? And what have I done well today? So if you take a minute or two for that. Okay, guys. Can I ask someone who would like to unmute and share? Anyone on the platform that would like to unmute and share? Anybody? Or pop it in the chat if you prefer that. Anyone?
Rashmi?
Yes. Claire, please go
Yes,
ahead.
I'll be brave.
Thank you for
It was
being brave.
it was very interesting to actually do this exercise because I'm well aware of the fact that we all fall into that loop of negative self-talk, and we're never as kind to ourselves as what we are to other people, and that we should treat ourselves like our best friends because we are with ourselves all the time. But actually doing this and sitting down and looking at what are the emotions that I felt, how did I speak to other people today? Um, Patience, empathy, compassion, kindness, all those sort of things were so easy to exhibit outwards, but not so easy to do inwards. And
Beautiful.
probably the only thing today that I'm very happy with what I did was work stuff that I was doing. Very happy with that and kind of comfortable with that. But other than that, every other sort of area where I didn't do what I felt I should have done today, then I sort of, in the back of my head, that monkey mind, was kind of telling me, you should have done this and you didn't do that. And there was not the same kindness. Whereas if I'd spoken to a friend who told me that she didn't get through everything today, I would have said to her, show yourself compassion. and
Oh,
yet we don't do it to ourselves.
yes, yes, Clay, so true, so true. And I think this exercise was meant to highlight that it's okay to do, as you said, the patience with others, etc., and the caring and the kindness with others. But when it comes to oneself, it's difficult to do, and we should be our own best friend. Hey, thank you for sharing, Clay. I think beautifully encapsulated. Then we have Pepe also had a hand up. So Pepe, can you kindly just unmute and share before I go to the chat? Pepe?
Yes, thank you. I don't know. I'm a bit nervous to share publicly. So, yeah, let me give me some time just to breathe into it. I've been in a very dark space for a very long time, and today I've really excelled. I went to a Quaker meeting this morning, where I just was so overwhelmed by the capturing of the moments that happened all of a sudden. There was this chatter about Ubuntu, there was this chatter about who you are, how you relate to people, the matter of resilience that just popped up all of a sudden. I'm not sure if many people are aware of the Quaker Way. It's where you just go to meetings silently on instead of a service per se, and you just like be on your own. And I just found myself so overwhelmed that in conversation, all the darkness that I had, all the darkness I felt for a very, very long time, was kind of released. And I think that the qualities I show today is a bit of resilience. It's a bit of getting over all the um, negativities that I've been feeling for several months, and some positive thoughts that just emerged with me with regard to others. I've been in this anger, hate space, like I started out by saying, this darkness. And
Yeah.
this morning, all of a sudden, there was just this sudden light. And I was saying, it is what it is. People are who they are, and they will possibly, be whatever it is. And it's not them, it's me. I've got to deal with it. And it was like such an overwhelming kind of understanding in terms of the thinking about myself, coming to realize that it's nobody else, nobody other than me. I've got to take stock, I've got to value myself in order to value others. And I've got to release that unnecessary, oh, not oppression, I don't know what the right word is, the negative views I have of people, you know, in order to be at one. And the one word that stood out for me very strongly today is Ubuntu. And
Beautiful.
what I have done well today is that I have, after that morning meeting, I have gone out to capture and encapsulate and share, as I went shopping, as I met with people, just to make that connectivity and to say, yes, I'm okay.
Mm.
No need to be in that darkness. So that's
Yeah.
my 2 cents worth. Thanks.
It's more than that, Pepe, and thank you for sharing so deeply. It is appreciated. We hear how you are moving through the journey of being more positive, and from I think there's nothing more that I can add to the awesomeness that's happening or unraveling within your day. So thank you for sharing so deeply, Pepe. I'm sure that all of us on the platform appreciate what has been shared by you. And also highlighting the fact that I need to change in order for the world to change, and that I can't change them. And we will have a look at some other techniques later in the platform, on the platform today. And that's the essence of those techniques, that when I change, then my world changes. Thank you, Pepe, for that. Deborah, I did see that you tried to unmute. Would you like to unmute and speak? Or I'm not sure if that was a mistake. If you,
Rashmi, yes, thank you so much for the
thank you, Deborah.
invitation. You know, looking at this that we posted to look at, and I had the very fortunate opportunity this morning of doing a 2-hour meditation with the Brahma Kumaris in Claremont. And I was a little bit anxious going. 2 hours seems to be a very long meditation, and I was in between various activities, and I walked in, and the love and the joy, you know, this is so easy to describe because in a circumstance like this, life is beautiful. But the love and the joy in the talking between everyone was so profound. And then my thoughts were of deep gratitude to actually sit where I was, and that I'd made the effort to get there, and in the busy lives we have. And then the calmness that came over me while I was sitting there, and being given a word out of the cards was freedom. And freedom was such a huge thing. I could meditate on it all day. I'm still meditating on it. But today was, for me, my day was of meditation and connection to community, which is so vitally important for our mental health. And I've just come away, and it was like I raced home to do lunch to be back online, because it's just, I can't tell you the gratitude that I have for what we are shared, you share with us, and it fills my soul with so much love. So thank you to all of you.
Oh, thank you, Deborah, for sharing again. And once more, we can see how your cup is being filled today, and how important it is for one's cup to be filled. Yes. Shem, I think you unmuted as well. Shem, go ahead. Or was that a mistake? Shem? Perhaps. Let's quickly look at then now. Thank you for that beautiful sharing, all those of you that have unmuted. But then we have then Marcel here sharing that for the first question, the qualities she has shown to others today was respect and compassion. And I believe if one is able to show others these qualities, one has these qualities embodied within them. Then what positive thoughts she had about others, again, yeah, compassion, caring, love. What positive thoughts she had about her prepared lunch, and she served mom, and then she cleaned. So what she has done well today was she prepared lunch and she served her mom. Beautiful. And then she has cleaned, which is such lovely aspects to share what she is able to do well physically. Then Melody sharing a mutual respect for others. While talking to others, she's shown mutual respect. She had tolerance. The positive thoughts that she had about others was tolerance to the social dynamics. Beautiful, embodying the ability to be tolerant. Then a sense of what positive thoughts she had about herself. This is lovely. A sense of pickles. I can't pronounce this now for a moment. Investments. Oh, Raksh, help there. And then and then accepting, I think it's being invincible. So a sense of invincibility and accepting presence as is, and then expecting a radical shift in ascendance. Such deep words, Melody. Thank you. And then we have Joshua sharing. So she showed He showed kindness and openness. He appreciated everyone who have helped me in their lives. So positive thoughts about others, remembering I have hidden strength within himself, and that's being positive about myself. And then what I've done well today was be able to declutter. And I hope you also had some opportunity to declutter the mind a little bit, Joshua, there. And then you also helped parents. Paper sharing. The last week, my focus was on openness. Beautiful, Pepe. And then Sandra sharing, and then Sandra just thanking. And then Kalini sharing that she embodied with others. She showed selflessness, positive thoughts about others, was loving. She was peaceful within herself, and what she did well was taking care of cooking at home and caring with patients and at the hospital. Wonderful. So caring for patients at the hospital is what she did well today. Yes, and then we have Margaret sharing, when I read through the module on positivity, learned it's okay to let others be what they want to be. Beautiful. And then Joshua sharing reminded me of this Osho quote, be grateful to everyone because everyone is creating a space for you to be transformed, even those who think they are obstructing you, even those whom you think are enemies, your friends, your enemies, good people and bad people. Sorry about that. Good people. Apologies for this. Your friends, your enemies, good people and bad people, favorable circumstances, unfavorable circumstances. All together, they are creating the context in which you would be transformed and become Buddha. Be grateful to all, because all together they are creating the context in which Buddhas are born, in which you can become a Buddha. I would like to leave it at that. I think there's much more sharing on the platform, and my apologies for the purposes of time. We're going to have to move on, but thank you for all for sharing so deeply on today's platform. Raksha, over to you then.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, everyone. Yes, in just two little exercises, so much has been highlighted. The aspects of the power of positivity, and also just taking that one step of courage today for many to be positive, and how the power just flowed into their lives. And so wonderful. And thanks for highlighting, the impact of how often, we train to be compassionate, positive with others, but how about every day being so positive with the self as I begin my day, so that from that high vibration, I allow that energy to flow into the rest of my day. And so a beautiful image here, take care of yourself. And so this image of somebody watering and nurturing the self to then be, one who can nurture and support others. And so in this exercise, which is a reflective exercise, it's called Surfacing Positive Thoughts. We are going to look at and appreciate times when we have been positive. And we are then going to look at how we can use our positive thoughts or attitudes that we have had in the past to approach a difficult or a challenging anticipated situation. And so positive thoughts often leave us feeling hopeful, with an inner calm, more creative to challenges that we face. And we look for and focus on solutions rather than dwelling on the problems. And so we're going to use this exercise to look at that, and we acknowledge and appreciate the best in oneself and others, and we create new positive thoughts, attitudes, and beliefs. And so in this exercise, we're going to identify and affirm the positive thoughts and underlying beliefs to identify their influence and explore how we can best make use of positive thoughts and attitudes that we have held in the past in our lives currently for an anticipated challenge. And so we are here powerful because we've had positive attitudes and thoughts. And how can I take benefit from my prior positive thoughts and attitudes to approach a challenging situation? And so what I wish for you to do is to be ready with your pen and paper in front of you so that you can fully engage in this very valuable exercise. I remember when I first did this exercise, it helped me unpack a prejudice that I had held about abuse. And it was amazing how just doing this session reflectively, openly for myself, and how it helped me work with something that challenges me, and so that I could have a more positive, open, and considered approach. And so what I want you to do now is to be ready with a pen and paper in front of you, and just be silent but alert and comfortable so that you can write spontaneously, not thinking too much. This is not an examination, but not thinking too much, so that you can write as you reflect, and I'll guide you through the questions. Okay, so just sit comfortably, undisturbed, and we're going to learn from ourselves so that we can take these to our future anticipated situation. And so what I want you to do now is to recall a time when you were very positive about yourself. You were so happy and content. So take your mind to a time when you were so positive about yourself. You were happy and content. And go into this experience for a moment. So go into this experience for a moment. And I want you to write down, what were your thoughts about yourself? So don't just think it, but type it, write it, so that you can see it. So a time when you were so positive, happy, content. Go into the experience and ask yourself, what were my thoughts about myself? And just quickly jot it down. Don't think too hard. Just let the pen flow, writing down your insights. And the next question, identify the underlying belief you had about yourself. So it might have been a quiet voice or thought that you don't often listen to, but if you had to put it into words, what was your underlying belief about yourself in that happy, positive, contented time of your life? What was the underlying belief you had about yourself? To write it down. So at that time, when you were feeling so complete, content, you had an underlying belief. And what was that belief? And now we're moving from the self to looking at others. And recall a time in your relationship with others that you felt happy with people you did not expect to find it easy to be with. So you felt happy to be with people you did not find it easy to be with. Recall what happened in that scene to make it positive. So what happened in that scene where you felt comfortable with people you did not expect to be comfortable with, and what happened that made it positive? And note down these thoughts. How did you start to think and feel about these people as you changed your attitude towards them? And write this down. So how did you think and feel about these people as you changed your attitude towards them? Write this down. And now to ask yourself, what was the old and new belief or assumption you were holding about them? The old belief and the new belief or assumption that you held about them that changed your experience in that situation. So what beliefs did you hold about them prior? And when you changed it, you felt comfortable to be with them. And as we said, don't think too hard. Whatever comes to the mind, just write it down. And now let's look at a current situation. So we looked at the self, appreciating positive thoughts and attitudes towards the self, others, and now a current situation. And so recall a situation that some people would say was hard, but which you usually deal with very positively or very well. So recall such a situation that others feel is difficult, but you deal with positively and very well. So take your time, think of such a situation that might be challenging for others, but is easy for you. And the question to ask yourself once you've identified that situation, how do you think about the situation? That others may feel difficult, but you cope with very positively, very well. So how do you think about the situation that makes you deal with it very positively or well? And the next question, what do you believe may be helping you? see this situation so easily and so positively. So what do you believe may be helping you? Okay, and now there might be an anticipated difficult situation that you will have to face in the near future, and contemplate on what you think will you will find most challenging. So think of a difficult situation that you know you will have to face in the near future, and contemplate what you think you will find most challenging. And I want you to ask yourself now, is there one of your current thoughts about it that you are willing to change? What would you like to change it to? And write these down. So, an anticipation of a difficult situation. And is there one of your current thoughts about it that you are willing to change? And what would you like to change it to? And to write these down. And if you're struggling to find such thoughts, look at your prior thoughts and beliefs in the previous three questions on the self, others, and a current situation. And is there any advice you can take from yourself from those? So, in anticipation of a challenge, what thoughts are you willing to change? What would you change it to? Are there any core beliefs you can have about yourself or the situation that will help you sustain this thought? And write these down. So, are there any core beliefs you can have about yourself or the situation that will help you sustain this thought? And to write these down. And so it would be wonderful now, whoever is ready and would like to share, to begin to share. Ideally, if we were in a room and not on Zoom, we would be sharing with a partner so that we can be able to verbalize and understand more deeply our thinking patterns, our beliefs that have sustained us and that we can use to continue to sustain a positive attitude and thinking towards situations. But since we are not in a closed room, if anyone would like to share, please feel free to unmute if you've completed this last aspect of the exercise and share. Or if you don't want to unmute and share, if you can type some realizations, some of your beliefs, some of your thought patterns into the chat so that we can all learn from them. And so there are thoughts that have worked for you, beliefs that have made difficult situations easy, that have worked in situations that others might find challenging, but you glide through. And so we'd love to learn from you as well. So if you can unmute and share, we'd really love that so that we can all take benefit. And if not, type your realization into the chat so that we can read it out and others can also benefit. So Pia shared some of the thoughts and attitudes that she or he held was care and consideration, and appreciated others when they cooked great food, and their strengths of fearlessness. Another thought, that I am stronger than I think I am, that I can do it, and to be fear-free, to truly tap into being positive, and made up my bed. And Melody, some thoughts were limitless, all conquering and accommodating. Wonderful. So you're taking that attitude, that thinking into your world, Melody, to be limitless, all conquering and accommodating. I guess like the ocean, hey? Accommodating, all conquering, limitless. Anyone else would like to unmute and share? Or type it into the chat, because we really value hearing some of your powerful, positive thoughts and attitudes. Sandra, treating everyone as a mirror and a teacher for my own reflection. Everything that is in the next person is in me. Ultimately, I take responsibility for my choices and cannot be responsible for others' thoughts, actions, or beliefs. Powerful thinking and attitudes. So treating everyone as a mirror and a teacher for my own reflection. So that's Ho'oponopono, isn't it, Sandra? Everything that is in the next person is in me. Ultimately, I take responsibility for my choices and I cannot be responsible for others' thoughts, actions, and beliefs. Wonderful. So that letting go, I'm only responsible for the thoughts that I am creating. And if they're not healthy for me, I can choose to uncreate them as well. So thanks for sharing, Sandra. Anyone else wants to share?
So, Raksha, this is Charlene. I just want to say, well, I feel that Earth is a school, and we're all here to learn such valuable lessons. There's always a test that needs to be passed, but it's for our own growth. So I feel that once you have passed the test, then there's another test that you need to go on to. And life is indeed beautiful. It's just that we just need to have the faith, surrender, and be in alignment. So, yeah, that is what I wanted to say, that we all here to learn and to improve ourselves. And now once we pass that test, life is going to throw us another test. So we all, yeah. So basically, that's how I would actually summarize Annie.
Thank you, Shalin. Beautiful.
Raksha?
So, yes, thank you. Thank you. That was wonderful.
Okay,
So,
pleasure.
yeah. So the attitude that life is a school and I will pass every test that comes my way and I can do this, like Pia shared. And so that attitude that this is a space for learning and growth and wonderful. So thank you so much for sharing that. So how do I see the world? Sandra said, as a mirror, a teacher, and yourself as a school, Kayalini, the thought that my pure vibration will change situations into positive. And Deborah, the fear of an anticipated situation was a diagnosis, and the core belief and thoughts that she used is surrendering, having faith and positivity for a good outcome, and trusting the universe. And so definitely, when one is having that fear, to know that I can and I will, and I will maintain my positivity no matter what comes my way. And with that faith and surrender and trust that everything that's in the way is the way. And definitely, I have the capacity within to meet the challenge. And Lakshmi, her belief when she was met with others that could potentially be difficult, she accepted them for who they were, and she saw the goodness in others as children of God. And her other thought that she holds on to is we are here to learn and grow from challenges in life. And anyone else would like to unmute and share? It's often wonderful when one shares, you can almost consolidate the experience for yourself. And Margaret shares that when I set others free to act the best according to their ability, it gives me a sense of serenity. Wonderful. So when I set others free to act the best according to their ability, it gives me a sense of serenity. So letting go of control, Margaret, and how it gives you a sense of serenity and others can rise. So wonderful. So we can learn so much from each other. Please do share your insights, your thoughts, your attitudes that work for you, so that we can also learn to adopt those and benefit from those. Anyone else would like to share? And if you're struggling, sometimes it's good to look at past experiences and reflections in question 1, 2, and 3, and see how you could use it with an anticipated situation. Okay, so Geeta is sharing, sometimes talking through your concerns can help clarify your thoughts and feelings. So wonderful. And Eva, when I value myself and my attitude is positive, life seems to flow with high energy. Separation and loss may challenge me in the future. Staying positive will certainly help with adversity. Yes, and your first statement, when I value myself, then and my attitude is positive, life seems to flow with high energy. So that importance of valuing the self and holding a positive attitude, and no matter what challenges they may be, life is filled with that high energy. And so how we can change an adversity into an opportunity for growth with that positivity. So any last thoughts on this exercise, on surfacing positive thoughts? Because we are a well of positive thoughts within, but sometimes the clouds, like Hendricks was sharing, you know, the clouds can feel very suppressive and oppressive of your beautiful, pure, and positive self. And it takes that one step of courage to hold on to a positive thought, a positive attitude, and how it can bloom in your life and spill into your life and create positivity that can spill into the next day and the next and the next. But it takes that first step of courage to choose that positive thought, that positive attitude that can bring that shift. And no one is going to do it for you. You can only do it for yourself. And so the choice is in my hands. And how do I choose to live every day? So thank you. Any last thoughts? Anyone wants to unmute and share? Oh, Pepe?
I don't want to be negative, but just with regard to that choice thing, how do we consciously choose the one or the other? It's difficult. It's difficult. It's not just a matter of choice because there's a lot of emotions and overwhelmingness. Sorry, I'm using un-English words as well, but I think you can understand. You know, if you have been through dark spaces like I have been through the past couple of months, it becomes so difficult to make that choice. After being a positive, a, a motivational kind of person, working with communities, and especially with youth development, I've always been an inspiration and motivation. But I've just gone into this dark couple of months, and making the choice is really a difficult thing to do because it's easy to choose the light, but how do you actually do it when you're in a dark space? So, there's those kinds of questions that I am sitting with as well. So, yes, it is a choice, like you say, but it's a difficult choice sometimes. That's all I wanted to just add to what you were saying. Thanks.
Thank you. Yes, and
Raksha?
yes, and thanks for highlighting that, Pepe, because it's so important, and also I felt when you shared, it helps people see we're not alone. Everyone's going through a lot, but you took that step of courage today, and that one little step made the difference. And sometimes it's just about doing it. Don't think too much. That analysis paralysis, but just take that step of courage and how it can it can support you to make that change. But as you said, it's not easy, and to acknowledge that as well for many. So somebody unmuted and was going to share. Claire, is it Claire?
Yeah, Raksha, sorry, I don't want to sort of keep on hogging and saying something the whole time. It's just in light of what Pepe said now. And Pepe, I've got the utmost respect for what you're saying because I know, firsthand what it feels like to be in a dark place, and how difficult it is to find the strength, the energy, and the motivation to drag yourself out of that space. And I don't know if this helps at all, and I hope it does help you. What I found helped from my perspective was to find pockets of joy in every single day, no matter how minute and arbitrary it would appear, would seem to somebody else. it was my little pocket of joy. And the more I focused on that tiny pocket of joy in every single day, the more it seemed to expand. And I don't have any family. It's just basically me and my kitty. And she was every single day creating a bigger pocket of joy. And as I focused on that, and I found more joy that just kept on coming in. And sometimes I do slide back, and then I find something else that will just give me, and whatever is good in my life, I'm grateful for, and I do gratitudes every day. And with those gratitudes comes that joy, and I find more and more, as I say, pockets of joy. And it just expands a little bit more. And as I start sliding back again, so I focus more on the gratitudes and the joy. And it seems to help more and more every single day. And, Pippi, I feel for you. And I hope that, you don't get back into that really dark place, because it really is difficult, and it is a choice. But the battle sometimes feels insurmountable. But you need to find what, and this is, I say, it's just my own, it's the work that I've put in. And it's just finding what works for you to get you out of that space.
Thank you. Thank you. Wonderful. Thanks, Claire. And I was just remembering a friend yesterday who was saying she's got this My Happiness project. And so every day she does a check and an audit as to where the happiness is slipping away and why. And then she just fills up maybe not from others, but from the universe, from a higher energy. And so, at this time, everyone's tired and exhausted and low and struggling to even live with themselves. And so, can I be a beacon of hope by checking my levels, my mercury of happiness? And if it's slipping, can I top up with what I need? Maybe not from everywhere and everyone who are suffering in this very challenging time, but even from a higher energy. And so, but that audit of the self, that's so important. As soon as there's that slipping away, so that awareness we need to hold throughout the day of our thoughts, of our attitudes, and how they are leaking out the positivity, and how can I top up. So I like that a lot, My Happiness Project. And so you can also choose that My Happiness Project. And Sandra was asking quickly, how when doing this exercise, when I first did this exercise, reflecting on my attitude and my thinking towards others, it was actually, about somebody who I had learned there was, childhood abuse, and I was so angry, as a female with this young child that was abused. And when I was doing this exercise with some healthcare workers, I did it alongside them, and the last anticipation of a difficult situation, I could appreciate how even that abuser, who was also, a young person, they themselves, as the perpetrator is a victim. And then such mercy and compassion emerged from me for that individual. And so it's often about perspective and how am I going to be a support and continue to hold on to positive energy if I myself, I'm leaking out with anger and attitudes that don't serve me and keep me topped up so that I can overflow. And so that was my little experiment with this exercise a while ago. But for each one of you now, read through those positive attitudes and positive thoughts that you held on to for yourself, for others, for situations that were difficult, and for future situations as we move into the next exercise. But just to affirm that for yourself, what has worked for you. And Marcel also sharing, I believe life is a journey and we have to travel the road. I ask the higher powers to carry me through each day. Meditation has been very helpful in keeping me above the waters, even in my most difficult times. Thank you to the Brahma Kumaris. Life is not easy, but with the tools learned, it is much easier to accept and continue the journey. And so sharing for herself how she's been helped, definitely. And so what we would like you to do now is just to sit comfortably and taking all the positivity and the attitudes from the previous exercise. Rashmi will then guide us into a space of positivity, feeling so inspired to be me. So Rashmi, if you could guide us through that.
Thank you, Raksha. So, as mentioned by Raksha and now Masal, that meditation is one way of reconnecting to our sense of calm, peace, and happiness that already exists within us. So, I would now like to invite you to sit comfortably on your seat with your feet on the floor and hands resting on your lap. Let your body, shoulders, and face relax. Allow yourself to become quiet. Take a few deep breaths to draw in fresh air and breathe out. Letting go of any tension or negative thoughts. With each in-breath, imagine you are filling up with positive thoughts and feelings. Breathe in positivity, letting it reach up to your scalp, and then breathe out, feeling your whole body relax. Turn your thoughts towards how you see yourself at present. Do you accept yourself as you are? Reflect on this for a moment. View yourself however you are and begin to accept what you see. You may like to focus on what you value about yourself, your strengths, and special skills that perhaps you take for granted. Nonetheless, these qualities and skills are special and make you feel unique. Appreciate these in yourself. Value these in yourself just as they are. You may start to notice the peace that lies within you when you are being positive. Appreciate that the essence of your being is strong and positive. That qualities you value and treasure lie within. How would it be if you could maintain a positive frame of mind about yourself, no matter what was happening. How would you cope in situations? How would you see yourself, and how would you relate to others? Take a moment to create that image. Now, in your mind, make a list of qualities that relate to this image. List the qualities you would like to acquire or create anew. Let these take shape. This is a new you. Allow this image of your more content self to become clearer and clearer. Spend some moments being this. Experience it fully. Finally, when you are ready, turn your thoughts back to your breathing. The sense of calm and peace in your body, back to where you're sitting, comfortable and relaxed. Return your awareness to the room. So I just want to share, getting in touch with our inner core gives us the experience of being positive on a deep, deep level. And this is one exercise that one could try out on a daily basis to actually embody being more positive. As being said on the platform, it's not always so easy, but this is one of the tools that one could use, like that of gratitude. This is another tool, a meditative or meditation tool that one could use to embody positivity. But once I also want to add to the conversation of being positive, and it's not always so easy, and it may be a choice, but it does take effort. I think as mentioned earlier on, we have been groomed to be self-critical, to take upon the negativity from society, etc. And this is an inside-out approach to really see and get deep within the level of oneself and understand oneself, that we were always positive. If you think about the little child, you were so free, positive. Nothing was an obstacle. You thought that you could accomplish the world. And if we go back to who we were born to be, and I think this meditation also embodies that deep, deep, deep sense of who we are, that sense of peace, calm, and happiness. Thank you, Raksha. Over to you now.
Thank you. So we've looked at being positive for the self, and now we want to look at how we can appreciate others using this positive attitudes and thoughts. And this exercise is quite valuable because often we might appreciate others, but quite superficially. And these are some 4 simple rules for appreciating others. And I know when I had heard of these, I thought, wow, that's very insightful. And definitely, if you use these, people feel appreciated. And so part of being positive about the self is appreciating the self. And if we can then allow that to spill out so that we can appreciate others genuinely. And so these are the 4 rules. The first is, when you are appreciating another, no matter what they may have done, feel genuinely to appreciate, and so that they feel that you really mean it. And number 2, be specific, not a generalized phrase such as well done or good show, but being specific brings understanding and learning. So example, if you're teaching someone to make a patient's bed, but if you say, you did, I really appreciate how you had undertaken to make that bed with such precision, such carefulness, so quickly. And so if you can highlight the qualities that they used, so be specific so that they can see, oh yes, I did that meticulously, I did that quickly, attentively. And so they are more likely to repeat that action with those qualities going forward. But if you just say, well done, they're not really sure what was well done. And so the third rule is identify the quality. Oh, so that's identifying the quality, and then highlighting the quality makes the person keep the quality in action. And then beware of spoilers. So we can be quite used to adding a spoiler to an appreciation. So ending with a negative comment, and then the person forgets the entire appreciation, and all they focus on is the spoiler. You did that well, but you could have done this. So they forget all the appreciation comments that was shared, and all they would remember is then the negative comment. And so these are the 4: being sincere, specific as to what was done well, and then identifying the quality, and being aware of spoilers. And so we thought we would just share these tools of appreciation, because a great appreciation, is not ever forgotten. And so it's important how one appreciates, because when you say well done, they might feel temporarily happy about what was done, but it is quickly forgotten. But if you're more specific, identifying the quality, being aware of spoilers, and really genuinely sincere, then that appreciation lasts with that individual for the rest of their life. Many share about how they had learned from their teachers based on how they were appreciated. And the power of appreciation. I remember I had done this exercise with about 75 nurse lecturers at a college in Johannesburg, and they had to go and appreciate each other, shake hands and appreciate 3 qualities they saw in the other. And I never saw a room more alive. And so I think we lack this quality of appreciation. And so what I would want you to do now, if you can bear with us, we're just moving on with time. So I'm not going to go through this entire exercise, but if you could type into the chat an appreciation that you would like to share with somebody that you live with or work with, using these 4 aspects of being sincere, be specific, identify the quality, and be aware of spoilers. And if you can today, after this session, send them a message, or tell them physically, and appreciate them and see the impact of positive appreciation. And so I invite you now to practice it by thinking about an appreciation that you want to share with somebody that, that you really value, or maybe somebody that you are challenged with, but how could you appreciate them so that it can begin that journey of repairing that relationship as well. So to write one appreciation in the chat. Being sincere, specific, identifying the quality, be aware of spoilers. Anyone would like to share? Okay. Nancy? Deborah, you unmuted. Would you like to share?
Raksha, I would. We so often are in our thoughts and in our words of how we interact with other people. One of my biggest challenges was living in a villa in Vietnam this last time and the time before we were living there, and two of the ladies could speak no English. Two of the ladies could speak English, but the two ladies that couldn't speak English, we ended up having the most incredible connection with touch, with smiles, with eye contact, singing, dancing. I had to let myself become silly and childlike, because they are very childlike in so much of their joy. But what went on there was just such love, such communication. We learned a few words from each other, but the positivity, there could be no negativity because we didn't know how to communicate in a negative way. But the actions that we do without words sometimes are so powerful that it really enters a different part of your being, to let go of this image of being an adult and having to always have the right way, and just sometimes just letting your soul free to express yourself. To me, I have never laughed so much. I've never felt so connected to two or four ladies, that all of them, but it was just love every single day. We learned little words, and only one little word, but it described so much. So yeah, that was to me an overcoming of my fear of how I was going to communicate, and then in the end getting so many gifts back.
Yes, wonderful. And so that is why that first rule of be sincere, and how most of our communication is nonverbal, and only 10% is verbal. And so that importance of a positive thoughts and attitudes, that sincerity, even if you don't speak the same language, it can be felt. So thanks for sharing that. And yes, and so a few more thoughts. So to my cousin and nephew for helping me to fix my car and always willing to assist. And DS Cackness, to Claire on this call, you are an amazing person who manages to face adversity in the most brave manner. Your love for others shines through in your every word. Wonderful. And then Joshua, thank you everyone for the positive energy. I got to go. Okay. And then another, Archibald, sharing who he would like to appreciate, India Bulela, and Kayalini, to my mother, you are working hard. We never notice it. You are very good at finishing work quickly, and I value the quality of how quick you are And a spoiler that she won't want to use is still you hasten others without understanding where they are at. So hopefully you don't use that spoiler at the end. And Lakshmi, when my husband is negative, I always tell him what a good person he is. And I appreciate his small, kind gestures. And that brings out his goodness. Wonderful, the power of appreciation. And so Sandra is appreciating that appreciation without words and how valuable that is. And Pepe, thank you. And Eva, so also all sharing appreciation for the session. And so we would like to move on to share a very valuable tool then as we're coming closer to the end of the session. Yes.
Sorry to interrupt. Debbie beat me to it. The DS
Okay.
Cactus is a friend, and I was kind of thinking I don't want to go and speak again, but
Yeah.
she's actually the person that I wanted to speak about. And just mention something. She is, apart from being a friend of mine, she's also a teacher, and she is the most incredible, unbelievable teacher. Her passion for what she does is infectious, it's contagious, and she brings so much passion to what she does. And it is phenomenal to be part and parcel of just any class that she gives. And, I was privileged enough to be part and parcel of some of her courses. And then through that, obviously became a friend of hers. But I've never known anybody, and I've obviously done over the last however many decades, a lot of courses, but I've never known somebody who invests so much of themselves into what they teach. And it is such an honor and a privilege to see somebody who gives so much of themselves. It is so beautiful to witness that.
Thank you.
You learn from that amount of passion. It's beautiful.
Thank you. Thanks, Claire, for appreciating out loud. So thank you. And so Rashmi, I think we're running out of time. But this is an exceptionally valuable exercise and tool that we want to share with you. I think it's often the crux of many people who attend this workshop. So if you could quickly go through this exercise, that would be great, Rashmi.
Yes, thank you, Raksha. So a process to transform a negative response to a more constructive, positive response is by applying the SOS technique. And this technique is like, you're familiar with the taking time out. So it's similar to that. So the S stands for standing back. So feel the silent space between the situation and you. So stand back from the negative thought that perhaps you're having. And this could mean like taking a moment of silence, taking a breath. It could mean anything of such. And then the O stands for observing. See where your thoughts are leading you. Are these thoughts you'd like to keep? Are they constructive? Are they negative, etc.? And then the S stands then for steering the thought to something that you want it to be. So perhaps a personal affirmation: I am peace, I'm capable, I'm acceptable. And that's just the one technique which I'm doing very quickly, Raksha, so we can move on to the next technique quickly. I trust this technique makes sense to you guys. If you don't, if there's any misunderstandings, please interject and ask. I would then share a little bit more. But for the purposes of time, Pia, thank you for acknowledging.
And we're going to experience this through a visualization. So that will be great.
Yes, and that's later. And then the next technique I want to bring or highlight is that sometimes, like you've been sharing on the platform today, and thank you for those wonderful and deep sharing that we've been having on the platform. And many a times you may become, or you'll feel like your thoughts are, it's difficult to stop it. It's difficult to steer it. And it's actually wreaking havoc all the cycle of negative thoughts. Negative thoughts feed negative thoughts, and it becomes a cycle of negative thoughts. And this is another technique that that I have used and has really shown to be of immense help. So sometimes our thoughts, as I said, can wreak this havoc. So we need to think stop. And putting a stop to the thought ends the sentence, and it will then end the thought. So just saying full stop to the thought, and stop can then diffuse the charged emotions and allow a painful thought to as well dissolve. But in order to really see the value of this, it means effort. So everything about positive thinking does take effort, because I think once more I want to take back to the statement I shared. We've been groomed to experience the negativity in our lives, and even if you think about the news, etc., everything seems to be social media seems to highlight the negativity, and thus it feeds the negativity, and we need to try and there's effort required to think positively these days. That's true, but acknowledging and having that awareness is the starting point. So now I would like to lead you into a visualization of the SOS technique. And again, I invite you to sit comfortably and relax. Let your body relax. Let your breathing become easy and your thoughts quiet. Now think of a difficult or unresolved situation in your working or personal life at present. Picture that scene as though from a distance. Observe the scene from a safe space, as if you are looking at it on the screen. You are an observer looking on. Ask yourself, what is the interaction like? What thoughts and feelings are being experienced and exchanged? What is each person's body language? What is the expression on your face? What is the atmosphere? What effect is it having on your body? What effect does it have on others around you? What is the outcome? Be silent for a minute and allow yourself to be calm and return to a positive inner space. Imagine what value or quality you would like to bring to that situation. Put this quality into your mind. Really hold it and tune into it. See that quality, sense it, hear it, and touch it. Imagine that quality is going into your whole being, into your muscles, your face, your shoulders, your chest, your back, your skin, your jaw. In fact, into your whole being. Now, having taken time to create new thoughts, picture another screen close to you, in front of the previous one. Play that same scene again, but with your chosen qualities in action. Can you see your positive qualities or values affecting that situation or interaction? Reflect on this for a few moments. What is the interaction like now? What are your thoughts or feelings? What is your body language? The expression on your face? What is the effect on the body? How do you feel? What is the atmosphere like? What is the effect on others? Now, what is the outcome? What other positive qualities are you able to use in that situation or interaction? As you reflect on the difference, what did you let go of? And what have you added? Now, slowly, gently, allow yourself to become aware of the room. Take a few deep breaths in and have a stretch if you like. Thank you, Raksha.
Thank you.
I see we are on the dot. Raksha?
Yes. So,
Yes.
So just to close the session, we want you to see what you would like to take back from the session. And so thoughts into action. Can I choose one positive thought or belief that I would like to adopt for the coming week, linked to a situation where changing my thinking can make a difference? So one positive thought, and write down the situation and the thought or belief in the chat or for yourself. But can I now not just leave this workshop not taking anything out of it, but choosing a positive thought or belief I'm going to adopt for a certain situation, and I'm going to reinforce it and reaffirm it as often as I can for the week, so that it becomes a tool and an action that will support me to stay uplifted. And so each one, if you can think of that, and those who can, if you can write that in the chat, that will be wonderful. So, and I can read them out. So Sandra says, listen with more empathy. So that is what she is going to practice. And from the SOS technique, you could have identified, that one aspect of positivity that one could bring into the equation. And Michelle says positivity always. So write that down so that you can remember it. Deborah, appreciation for what others do for me. So that aspect of appreciation, so important. And what you give out comes back to you, isn't it? So you appreciate others and they vibrate that back to you. So anyone else, any other thoughts that you're going to hold on to in the coming week? A thought or belief that you're going to fiercely hold on to so it keeps you uplifted. Because if I stay uplifted, not sinking, then I can prosper. But if I allow myself to sink because I'm not attentive to my space, I will, struggle and then have to rise in my vibration to prosper again. And so that deep attention on the self. And so, and another last gift that you can give yourself is an affirmation to yourself. So if you could write to yourself, you are special because, or you have the qualities of, and to write that positive affirmation to yourself. Or I like or love myself because, and be sincere with yourself as you're being positive about this. So in the interest of time, we'll just write this to ourselves, but later you could write a positive affirmation that you can give as a gift to another person. But to end today's session, can you give yourself the gift by writing, I like or love myself because, and write that down. So we began the session looking at how we had appreciated and how we value others, and many recognize that there's not too much positivity towards the self. So end the session with being very positive about yourself, very sincere about the aspects of the self that you love and you like, because what you appreciate only grows. And if we can appreciate the wonder of me, I could then do wonders. So some sharing, be courageous. The stop technique, I am powerful. Practice spontaneous gratitude. Do more gratitude processes. Marcel, gratitude and appreciation to the self and others always. Cultivate a more optimistic outlook. I am special because I'm kind, loving, and caring, ready to give a helping hand. I love myself and am positive about myself. And so thank you, and lots of thanks coming through as well. And I love myself. I am kind to myself. I like myself because I'm kind and I have a resilient spirit. And I love myself. I am unique. I am powerful. And so I'm seeing if I missed any. And somebody's sharing how some random person paid my bill. This week I'm going to pay it forward. And Claire, be more patient with myself. And so, yeah, I can send you the slides. And then positive thinking about all situations, being courageous. So wonderful. And so the last two comments, I love myself because I appreciate everyone on the universe. And Sandra, I am courageous. So wonderful. So we leave you with those gifts from yourself to yourself. And we do need to gift ourselves every day with these positive and powerful thoughts and attitudes towards ourselves first. Because when I really accept the wonder of me, I can do wonders. So thank you to everyone for spending the last 2 hours with us. Thank you to Rashmi, and I appreciate myself too. And so have a wonderful evening, everyone. Yes. Rashmi, do you want to share any last words?
No, thank you for the wonderful engagement on the platform. Thank you for the heartfelt sharing. It was well appreciated, and we were able to learn together, and I think that has been achieved. So thank you for the deep sharing that happened today.
Yes, and spend a little quiet time this evening and just capture the learning, reinforce it, develop a technique, put your gift to yourself somewhere where you can see it and remind yourself so that you can affirm, and by the end of the week have a positive habit of and a powerful attitude, a new one that you have cultivated this week. So thank you, all those that have attended, and have a beautiful day further.